Mattel is doing something really fun and amazing with their Barbie movie, just like how Sega is doing with the Sonic brand. Mattel is leveraging their brand's unique elements for storytelling, but are adding in something really cool.
Do you guys ever think about dying?
Uniting a toy from the 50s with the oldest piece of mythical storytelling ever? I am here for it! Unfortunately, Mattel's other famous character brand isn't faring quite so well.
Here comes Thomas! I'm the #1 engine. Whoa! All engines go! Look, there's Percy. We're back. Oh! Hey, there's Mia. I'm rocking out. Don't forget me, Thomas. And Diesel gets a shout. Hey! Carly! Go! Sandy! Go! Here comes Tom!
Sorry, but what Thomas and Friends has been doing is pretty much the worst way to use a brand. You're taking something truly unique and making it generic. But who cares about Thomas the Tank Engine? Does geek culture?
Thomas the Tank Engine. Okay.
Whose joke is this? Come on, where's the real summary? Come on. What? Doing in something as brainless as Thomas the Tank Engine. I mean, it's not that it's a kid's film. Hell, a Disney movie or a Pixar movie or something of substance would make more sense, but it's Thomas the fucking Tank Engine! The show PBS puts on when Clifford the dog is too intimidating.
Well, maybe.
You read the title. You all know what's coming.
Go!
You shouldn't review Thomas the Tank Engine if you haven't seen the show!
Okay, look, I made it very clear that I never saw this show. I was only reviewing the movie based on the fact that a lot of people wanted me to review it. And for the most part, people liked it. But to all those people saying I need to see the show before I judge the movie, I'm here to make jokes. Calm the fuck down. I've reviewed movies based on shows I haven't seen before. Like the Pokemon movie, the Avengers, heck, even the original Star Trek shows I've barely seen, and I can still get through the movies okay. I'm just judging by what's given to me as a moviegoer. Maybe it is made only for people who watch the show, in which case, I get the feeling I would like the show even less. Now, if I said the show sucked despite the fact I never saw it, then I can understand getting angry. But when I openly acknowledge I've never seen it, I think it just makes for funnier moments when I don't know what's going on. I love George Carlin, but he was doing Tarzan 2 and Scary Movie 3. The shock value's kinda taken down a few notches after you do that. But he's still awesome. Fuck yeah! What are those words?
Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, fart, turd, and twat.
Now if that was in Thomas the Tank Engine, I'd probably like it.
What makes Thomas unique is that he and his friends weren't created in a toy company's boardroom. Rather, the Thomas brand is and should be intimately connected with its subject. Thomas isn't about fun or work or friendship or magic or childhood or even death, although it is about all of these things. And it's not about imperialism either. People continuously try to fit the Thomas stories into their own moral universe, not on the story's own terms. This documentary from the BBC is one of the worst examples. It only focuses on one story from the first book, but Audrey wrote 26, and the last one is very different from the first. Everyone, from nostalgia critic to the BBC, make the same mistake even when it's staring them right in the face.
I find them a bit weird myself. Everything about them, the detail in the trains and what have you, is really realistic. And then they've got these funny human faces painted on them. I find that really, really odd. But my grandson, who's quite little, loves them.
This, I truly believe, is the key to the success of Thomas the Tank Engine. The face on the tank. You cannot talk about Thomas the Tank Engine without paying tribute to the genius of those grey, round faces.
This guy on BBC was absolutely wrong. It's not about the face. We see faces everywhere. It's what humans do. What makes the world of Sodor so special is everything except the faces.
are looking at scenes of stations and sidings and broken up carriages and trains zooming through the countryside, you know.
It's in the name. Thomas the Tank Engine. It's about the bloody trains. And only a real train geek can know or even care just what a tank engine is. Many fans would point to Enterprising Engines as their favorite book. It was released in that year of revolutions, 1968. And among those revolutions was the end of British steam, in the place where it all began. In that book, and earlier, a diesel claims superiority over the steam engines because he's easier to use. And the diesels are right. Steam engines were and are very resource and labor intensive. The Thomas the Tank Engine books, or rather the Railway series to use their proper name, may have started with simple moral parables. But the actions of British railways over the course of their publications changed the books immensely. They became a time capsule.
Oh, Dr. Beeching, what have you done? There once were lots of trains to catch, but soon there will be none. I'll have to buy a bike, 'cause I can't afford a car. Oh, Dr. Beeching, what a naughty man you are.
Where else have children's stories effectively been involved with and commenting on the world in which they were made? The Railway series is basically a satire about trains for children, and that's so important and unique, but no one acknowledges it, and I think that's a very serious oversight. If there is a universal moral truth that's evolved from the Railway series books, it's the importance and value of historical preservation for its own sake. Yet Audrey does integrate the past and the present, as by the end of his 26-book run, several diesels have in fact joined the railways of Sodor. As a personal aside, my favorite books came in the middle of the Railway series, Duck and the Diesel Engine and the Twin Engines. They best capture the book's evolution and growing maturity, even in the different illustrators. In this article for The New Yorker, it is revealed that Mattel's executives are making the same mistake as the BBC. One of the executives said Thomas the Tank Engine isn't going on a bender with his friends. He's very wrong. What makes these stories and their world really unique and special isn't their lessons or even the characters. It's the context that's unique and special and important. The original books are inescapable from the mid-20th century British railways that inspired them. From the companies, to branch lines, to nationalization, to dieselization, to preservation. Not only in the original Railway series books, of which Thomas the Tank Engine was just one, but also in Tom Rolt's Railway Adventures, and movies like The Titfield Thunderbolt. Both could easily and accurately be adapted into Thomas stories because they are about the train.
And I don't mean it metaphorically or rhetorically or poetically or theoretically or in any other fancy way. I'm...
Mattel's attempts to turn Thomas into a generic kids brand have stripped it of its unique identity. They are actually reducing both its educational and brand value. Because, as the BBC themselves admit, steam engines aren't around anymore.
Steam trains have long been shunted into the sidelines of history. Yet Thomas and his friends are more popular than ever with young children. What is the secret ingredient?
And yes, the whole world has trains. But in North America especially, Trains have been on the way out, and there's opportunity there. That should be looked into and explored. You can do all sorts of really cool things by telling children stories about trains, about a world that no longer exists. Who needs fantasy when you have history? History isn't just about battles and wars. It's about what people did. And that's pretty cool on its own. For a better alternative, check out what the Talachlyn Railway in Wales has been doing with their Audrey weekends. Wilbert Audrey, the author of the Railway series books, is intimately connected with the history of steam preservation, and we see that relationship built within the Thomas books themselves. Lifelong fans of the TV series and the books have taken matters into their own hands by taking real and digital train sets and making their own stories and characters based on real engines and railway practices. If you know the name DM Man 33 at all, it's probably from this.
Oh, I swear by Odin's beard, if I ever hear another off-key rendition of Jingle Bells by some shitty Peruvian folk band, I will kill everyone I know and tolerate. Everyone.
Right. Well, that's nice and sorted.
You're damn right it is. Tinsel? What the hell is tinsel? I have literally no idea. It's like some sort of lazy grey worm with no taste and no manners. Every year they creep into your house when you're asleep, hanging themselves on your walls to hibernate and shed their stupid shiny skins all over any surface within 100-yard radius. Where do these strange creatures come from? What do they want from us? We may never know.
Actually, Diesel, tinsel was originally invented in Nuremberg in 1602 to make the candles on the Christmas trees look brighter, and it's usually made out of extruded polyvinyl chloride. Would you believe I spent the entire afternoon learning how to say those last three words? It used to be aluminium, but it proved a touch too flammable, so they tend to use plastics now instead.
Oh, those bloody, horrible, stupid, awful, suckling, garbage-barged coke cans that they show every single solid year without fail or shame. I hate those ads! I hate them! I am sick of seeing those horrid lorries tearing through my favourite protest with their tacky lights and bloody annoying jingle. I don't even like Coca-Cola. It's sticky and yucky and doesn't get me half as hyperactive as Iron Brew does. And if you're only half as hyperactive as I am right now, then you'll love brand spanking new Iron Blue Buzz. The only soft drink that provides your full yearly allowance of caffeine in a single can. So remember, when you're tired of lateral thinking, try a can of new Iron Blue Buzz. It's phenomenally bad for you. Warning, side effects may cause violent twitching, heart attacks, loss of vision, permanent brain damage and mild death. Not suitable for children under 12 or adults over 12. Product may be technically illegal, so find out where your stocks last. Seriously, what is it all about? The Audreys themselves finally decided to start complaining about that biased documentary you call a TV show, and the one thing they decide to lay into is the use of the phrase winter holidays. No offense, but if you're looking for things to complain about, you have such better material to work with right now. The bastard. Goodness knows what he got up to in there. Probably smoking weed, or throwing swingers parties, or some other ridiculous thing I'd rather be doing than making this bloody video.
Now, Diesel, you really shouldn't use language like that. Naughty words make baby Jesus cry.
Derek, by this point, Jesus is well into his early 2000s. I'm pretty sure he's old enough to bear my hilarious library of B-words. Although this does provide a very convenient segue into reason number 7, the bloody political correctness.
Okay, look, I need you to understand something, okay? Okay, you ready? Look, this video was made in 2011. That's over 10 years ago. You might say, get a life. I say, screw you. So, 2011 was still the continuation of the culture of the 2000s. And that was a continuation of the culture of the 90s. So the last political correctness scare was like the early 90s. It was this book, it was a politically correct fairy tales. That was like the first politically correct boom. And then political correctness became a thing again like 2 years after our videos. So we were bucking the trend. These things are like sine waves or cosine waves or some sort of like math, physics thing that I don't care to know about, but like, we were ahead of ahead or behind the curve. I don't know how you calculate it. Sine waves are like freaking curve. The point is, we're cool. We gotta do more of these. Mattel should treat its Thomas brand, which is older than Barbie by over a decade, with the same fascination and respect. We would all benefit. Filmmakers, fans, and lovers of toys and history alike.